Howdy folks, once again, welcome back to Rosgrease Gaming, and today I got another video from you guys for the Premium Spotlight. This is the Tier 8 Kidd. Originally I was never going to buy this ship because I wasn't a DD guy, but then after looking at some of the stuff and some of the things that my friends have shown me, I went, yeah, I'm going to spend the money. Especially was on the American sale a little while back, so I was able to repurchase and get this ship finally. So now we personally now own a Tier 8 Fletcher class destroyer. Yeah, this is a Fletcher class at Tier 8. But there's a couple differences for you folks at home. They basically have taken one of the torpedo banks in the middle between the two smokestacks here and buffed up the AA. So you have two quad Bofors and some fire directors to assist in the aiming department. So it's a pretty beefy little AA ship. And when I mean beefy, oh baby, it's this beefy. I'll show you what I mean with some video stuff that some of my friends have shown me, but it's nothing is more satisfying than you single-handedly if you're top tier and you got tier 7 or tier 6 planes coming in and you fire defensive fire and just watch all the planes disappear, or they can't even hit you. It's very satisfying feeling. So anyway, what's the Kidd? Well, the Kidd is a infamous ship. If you guys haven't watched Eva Legends on YouTube from World of Warships, I would recommend watching it full-heartedly. It's got a pretty good health pool, 16,700. Pretty good armor scheme. She also has the guns, the 127 5-inchers, dual purpose all around, but a pretty decent range if you buff up the basic fire, with the AA build. You only get one set of torpedoes, the 533 that they usually typically have, with a 122 second reload stock. Typical thing with the 55 knots and 90.2 range. Same as the Monahan. If you guys were curious about what the Monahan is, there is a link to the top up there, so feel free to watch that and watch me get very angry and very salty quickly. Now back to the Kidd. And then AA wise, you have 6 of the twin organs, you got 3 of the twin Bofors, you got 2 of the quad Bofors, and the 5-inchers dual purpose. Maneuverability is 39.9 knots with the speed flag, if I remember correctly, and you also have a rotor ship of 3.9. If you buff it with other upgrades, you could possibly make that a little better, but there's no point in this aspect. We'll get to this guys in a second. Concealment is 5.8, which is pretty good. Actually, it's so good, it's actually the same as my Tier 8 Benson. So bear with it. It's a Tier 9 gunboating ship that has the same concealment as a Tier 8. And the Fletcher I have is 5.8 as well. And then the Tier 10 I have is 5.9. So the Kidd has, no doubt about it, a very, very good concealment. Exceptionally good. Than most ships. But more to what we're talking about. How's the ship? How's it play? Well, let's get right to it, shall we? Let's just watch the clip, guys. Watch, here we go. Okay, folks, so we're in now the Kidd and a Tier 6 7 and 8 match. So this is an ideal matchmaking for the USS Kidd. You will get 10s, so to speak, guys. Remember, that's your typical little thing. So, other than that, let's get to it. So, what's this premium going to be like for you guys? Well, if you guys actually have the Kidd, well, you would know. Now, remember, you do have a heal, but bear with it, it's a destroyer, so it doesn't have like an over buff of a heal. You could put on the buff of the heal, and that will make this thing actually look a little bit better. But in another aspect, this thing definitely is a different kind of concept, kind of thing you get to go for. It's not a torpedo boat, as many other people have said. You can use torpedoes, but it's not a torpedo boat. So just to make you guys a little more afraid right there, that was a little close call by me and Chata there with those ships. Now there's Akatsuki. We're going to, both of us are going to open up on this guy. That's the one ship that you're going to have to fear. If you do see him, you're going to have to open up on that ship, because if you don't, well, it's going to be a big problem for you. Now we do open up our smoke now. Somebody is going to spot him, so we're opening up on him. We don't want him existing. So hopefully some of my rounds that should do some damage there, and yep, that they're doing some damage there. Like I said, the nice thing about this ship is it's a Fletcher, so you can still use its guns, and that is your biggest threat. You have better guns than Benson. Use them. And boy, if you guys use these right, see right there, I'm actually getting some penetrations here. It's not a lot, but it's a good fair enough DPS that it just annoys the hell out of people. And before you know it, you can get yourself a very, very nice size health pool of damage. And that could mean the difference between your team winning and your team losing. It's one of those serious things you have to seriously take. Just throw up as much rounds as you can and watch them stick. So, you know, hitting the turret bits, hitting any other enemy ships, and you see what your team is doing, and you just assist them in what they need. Remember though, torpedoes are not your friend, your best friend there. So remember that torpedo magnets, folks, for that smoke. So you're going to have to watch what you're doing. But if you know your fundamentals, just go right ahead and have fun with this. Now, you do also have, I took off the engine boost for its full loot action. I'm pulled out the defensive AA. Now, that kind of would some people be questioning. If you guys know what the Kidd is, you wouldn't be. You have a really good anti-air battery setup with your ship. If you use it and buff it like crazy, you actually have a very serious anti-air defense ship. And you'll be able to just destroy anything that stands in your way. There's no way that any plane that can withstand. It actually has a viable way of defending itself against even tier 8s. The upper tiers you will have to buff it even more, but you can take down full squadrons with 2 of these together. If the enemy sees 2 of them, that's a problem. That they probably they'll be burying their heads in the sand for fear. They're not going to like this. Now, weakness-wise, it's not a torpedo boat. It can't defend itself against a lot of torpedoes and a lot of destroyer torpedoes coming after it. But then again, dodge them. Number 2, radar is always a major problem, especially with if you go toe-to-toe with Akatsuki. That's going to be a problem. If the Germans start spotting you with hydroacoustic, that's a problem. If the German battleships with their secondaries and even the French value you with their secondaries, that's a serious problem as well. Yeah, that guy asked for my support in the Kidd. I basically said screw you. So, sorry about that, but that's not my point with this ship. Anyway. Like I said, what you could do is with this, if you have multiple ships together, especially destroyers, you could team up together and get in positions to use your guns as a major offense. You can go out there, spot targets, get in a position with the smoke, cut the throttle, and just go full DPS ham on them. Don't even worry about your torpedoes. Unless it's a dire emergency, you're in a really caught yourself in a pickle, there's no point for you to use those torpedoes. Because if you keep throwing the rounds out, you're going to actually do some serious damage. And the enemy's not going to like you.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Not one bit. Anyway. um, so what would you use for command? For a commander for this ship, you're going to need at least... You're going to need concealment. Again, it's typical of any destroyer. You're going to need last stand. Again, typical thing. But if you really want to maximize this ship, don't ever, I will repeat this, do not use any skills to buff your torpedoes. Sacrifice all typical ideas of a full torpedo destroyer and turn this into an AA-DPM machine. Basically turn this into a Russian American destroyer kind of thing. You want to buff this thing to have the highest anti-air ability to make it a very annoying ship. Buff up the guns with demo and basic fire training. Advanced fire training might be a thing, but I'm not too sure if you really want to go that far, because now you increase your range of your guns, which means increases your detectability. That could be a serious problem. Bear with it, that does increase your distance quite a significant amount, and that might be a serious thing for you. But for me, I think that might not be necessary. You definitely want to have enough rounds to throw at something, but you don't want to put out so much frickin' rounds that actually it becomes a living nightmare. So don't even go that far. But if you buff up the guns, you buff with Demo Expert, you can seriously get a lot of fires on the ship. Because watch this Normandy. We and our good friend Chetta, we teamed up together and we just throw DPS on this guy. That's basically what we did. So that was one fire. And I'm doing a little bit of damage without doing anything. So, you know. But there's the fire chance. You just keep throwing these rounds at and you're going to get a fire. So, now I'm aiming at the back. There's a fire there, so now he's on third. Fired 3 spots. So I'm trying to get that 4th one, but, you know, Cold Springs Eternal. But basically, you just open up on enemy ships and just keep throwing the DPS out. And just watch your damage just slowly climb up as this thing burns away into oblivion. It's not the ship you want to ingrace yourself with on the enemy side. And now we're just going to wait in that Tirpitz and throw something at him next. Anyway. What else can you say about this ship? Well, let's talk about the anti-air defense. Okay, that's another thing. This thing's anti-air is a god, and for it, it actually has the ability to do some serious pain to the enemy side. Because if you watch right in the back, that was Chad's anti-air going off, and yeah, that's not many planes coming down tier 6 are gonna get swatted away like crazy, but we're talking tier 6 carriers having to deal with anti-air from a destroyer. That's something you usually don't hear unless you're talking about a German or you're talking about a this ship. This ship can actually do that. It can actually defend itself against planes. Because here comes a plane. Now bear with it, I did F up here. I'm trying to focus on this ship, not paying attention, and I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get bombed. And I immediately freak out and throw every button up. But you can watch. There goes those planes. Just 2. Now bear with it. I don't have basic fire training. I don't even have manual AA. And on top of that, the only thing I have on here is the extended anti-air buff with the chip modules. Now you're probably saying, well, why not aim time on something like this? It'd probably be a better idea. And I go, it would be, but I'm not going to. This thing already is powerful enough. I just would rather have what I'm doing here. just full DPS build on a destroyer. And if you do that with this ship, you can actually fling out a lot of rounds and actually piss off a lot of ships. And this is a prime example of what I mean by that. I mean, this is not the best way to point myself at with this, but this is a good way of showing like how fast you can take a full health ship and just send him ingraciously to the bottom of the water in just a few short rounds. You just watch, here comes, you know, then once you get close enough with this thing, just switch to armor piercing and then aim here at the bottom and yeah, there's the citadels. 5-inch guns. Bye-bye.
Enemy aircraft carrier sunk.
And now I'm getting this capture point just because I went around the flank. Now you do have a heal, like I said before, but like I said, it's not that big. So overall, how's this ship? It's fun. It's fun if you know what you're doing. If you keep messing up, it's because you don't know how to use this thing for its full weeb action. It's only good as a gunboat anti-air platform. That's the only reason why this thing actually could be good for. Now, it can be also good for if you're doing a ranked battle. This thing can actually do well for hiding and getting spotting positions and using its guns to take out enemy ships. That's what it's good for going for. Other than that, can't do much. And what I'm showing here is another prime example of what this ship can do. You just sit behind an island and you can just do what American cruisers have been doing for quite some time. Just throwing the lead out and punishing ships. So I'm able to put a lot of rounds on an enemy ship and just throw out the DPS. Now bear with, I know I'm actually aiming terribly here, but I'm also trying to figure out like what's the next move after this fact. And well, it was quite the moment there. So anyway, that is the USS Kidd in a nutshell. Quite the interesting tier 8 premium from Warships. Is it worth the buy? Absolutely. It's a fun ship that if you really know what you're doing, you might actually get yourself a little bit of a fun time. I'm not gonna actually let you guys see the end of this video, this match here, because basically that's pretty much it. Just that much damage, etc. So anyway, guys, that is the USS Kidd. If you guys like that video, as always, hit that like button. If you disliked it, hit that dislike button. If you know, always feel free to subscribe and watch any more of the videos that are coming out. There is a plethora of them coming out very, very soon. So I wanted to just show you guys the next premium that I personally got. I'll let you guys know if I get any others. If you want to, hit that bell icon so you know when I get another one of these. If you guys want to, follow the link down below, the Twitter down below, and also my Twitch streams. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching my video on the Premium Spotlight, the USS Kidd. As always, take care, and I see you all on the high seas.